All right, hello, welcome back to another wee bit different video. I apologize in advance. My camera is at 7% battery, so I'm gonna make the most of this as quick as possible because, yeah. Anyway, today's video, we're gonna be looking to a post. I hate From Software's character questlines. I don't think I'll personally have any hot takes. I mean, it's possible, of course. You could just entirely disagree with everything that I say. But I kind of understand both sides of this argument. So we're going to read this post real quick and then we'll get into the comments. Most people will never complete them without a guide because they make no sense and tell you nothing. For example, nothing indicates that Millicent will move to the Erd Tree Gazing Hill after you help her at the church. Then nothing indicates that she will move to the Windmill Village. If you miss her at either of these locations, you can't finish the questline. The characters themselves are also pretty unremarkable and hard to get attached to for two major reasons. First, they usually just waffle on about some nonsense whenever you talk to them rather than having any actual personality. She just exposition dumps about Melania before leaving. Secondly, every From Software questline is the exact same. The character always dies at the end. Why would I get attached to a glorified mannequin that has no personality and I know, without question, will die at the end of their story? Okay, so my response to that post would be, I think there's a double-edged sword to their quest lines. One, to the people that actually don't want to be spoon-fed lore and be spoon-fed quest lines, they actually want to work for it. This game is the definition of that. Granted, because of how huge the map is and because how difficult it is just to figure out what the hell they're even saying, it's very hard for anything less than a hardcore person to really understand what's going on. So it's caused a huge problem for a lot of casuals, like me included. I am definitely part of the people that have no idea what the hell's going on with NPCs. And if I see an NPC and I know that they seem relatively important, I'm gonna look it up on a guide, and that guide will tell me I have to grind this quest line to get a super awesome weapon or a super important talisman. Like, it's crazy how difficult these quest lines are without guides. I'm neither for nor against the quest lines, but I understand both sides because as a casual, I'm going to look up guides. It's going to happen. Even if I wasn't a casual, no one person could figure out all the quest lines without looking up anything. There's just too much, and the map is too massive, and there's too much miscellaneous things to do, to be honest with you. Like, it's pretty crazy that these guys are really just making these hints. For example, this is a good example. To get into like a section of the Volcano Manor, you have to die by the Iron Maiden thing below a damn Ferris wheel ass thing. It's ridiculous. I don't know how anyone figured that out, but people figure that out one way or another. And the only reason why I figured that out was because my cousin told me while I was sharing my screen on PlayStation. He's like, oh, to get here, you're gonna have to do this. And I was like, what the flippin' fuck? How am I supposed to learn this otherwise? Top comment to the post though is somewhere an ancient seal has been broken. And let me remind you, there's like 6-7 ancient seals that need to be broken. Some of them puzzles too. I would have never beaten without a guide. There was one where you had to emote, and to get that emote, you had to do a different quest line. So this game is crazy with its quest lines, to say the least. The most obtuse part of Millicent's quest is specifically the end. If you find the Prothesis arm, which isn't too much of a stretch because most people want to find Shaded Castle when they see it, they can probably put two and two together that it's for her. She also gives vague hints about Castle Soul to find the amulet and that she wants to go to the Halig Tree. But how would you know you need to kill the putrid tree spirit and go back to that area? Who'd want to return to Scarlet Rot Pond with nothing in it after you beat the mini boss? Honestly, I have no shame in admitting this, but I never play a FromSoft game without a guide for NPC quests because of how arbitrary it can get. Unfortunately, I still missed out on an NPC's quest in the DLC anyway, all because I gave an item to another NPC in the same area before talking to him about the former NPC. Oops. This reminds me of something, spoiler by the way, if you're not interested in learning about any of the quest lines, but this reminds me of Boc the Seamster. I gave him the larval tier thinking, oh, he's going to become a human again. This is great. I'd go back to the school or whatever the hell it's called, the academy, and I see him, he's a human, but he doesn't talk to me. So I'm like, oh, maybe I need to reset the area by resting at the site of grace. I rest at the site of grace and he's fucking dead when I get out of it. I'm like, what was I supposed to do? Then I look it up and you were supposed to do an emote and you couldn't rest until you did that emote to keep him alive, I guess. But there was literally no reward. There was no reward for giving him the larval tier. So just don't give it to him. It's stupid. I honestly, that quest in the entire game pissed me off more than anything because I gave him a valuable item and he's just like, I'm just gonna die. And then even if you keep him alive, from my understanding, you don't get anything. So it's best you just don't give it to him and let him live. That way, at least he can change your garments. I'm pretty sure you can change your garments other places as well, but he's one place that you can do it. So for him to die for nothing felt frustrating. I think they were fine when the games were more linear. That's also an interesting point because Elden Ring is such a massive map and you can go anywhere. My playthrough will look different than your playthrough will look different than his playthrough will look different than her playthrough, and it's just a never-ending cycle of everyone's playthrough is unique to them because the game doesn't tell you not to go places. It's just like, all right, here you go, new enemy. Oh, over here you go, new enemy. Oh, this secret passage. Oh, here you go, new area. And there's never a point in time where they're like, hey, yo, you can't come here. It's just like constantly new area. Oh, you keep adventuring around, you're gonna get new areas. It's a lot to take in. I think the biggest issue here is that things can be missed if you progress X questline too far or you visit Y location before talking to Z. That's my biggest problem. Recently did another walkthrough and forgot to do 2 fire Maynard assassinations. Killed Rykard and they were gone. Or progressed too far into Randy's quest line and to be able to do Sylva's quest as I wanted to give the potion to the Dung Eater, but he is in the Shunning Grounds, which most people do much later than Randy's quest, and that happened to me. Literally. So I understand. I get it. This is entirely frustrating. Comment here. They don't always die. Sometimes they just disappear. I don't think I can tell you a quest line off the top of my head where they just outright disappeared. But I'm sure there is, because they got a lot of upvotes. The DLC is utterly woeful from this. Do well and explore too far. All quests broken. It is tough, dude. Honestly, all of this is really freaking tough to deal with. Anyway, I greatly appreciate you guys for watching. It is a pleasure. As always, this is I'll Even Different. And we out.